What's up, guys? Welcome to Djehutyii's channel, aka Djehutyii's Readings. So this is part 2 of the downfall of the false king and his peasants, aka the lunatics. All right, so this is part 2. In part 1, we did talk about when will this gonna end, and we did see what has been happening so far. Okay, and now we're gonna give continuity to it, and now we're gonna talk about how will he be removed, how these lunatics gonna be removed from the power position that they are currently in. So the energy that I'm getting here is that there is a long-standing stalemate or denial. Okay, still people have been torn or silenced. Okay, this energy also suggests that deals made behind there are deals that are being made behind the scenes. Okay, a hush period or political paralysis. So meaning that there's still that fear mongering is still very much present in the population. Okay, back home there's still that fear mongering energy because these lunatics have the military, right? So they have weapons which the population do not have. Okay, and they can be, they can easily use that tactic to maintain the control and maintain power. All right, and also the fact that there is this hush period or political paralysis, meaning that the elections were meant to happen in February. Is it February? I guess it was February or something like that. Okay, but it didn't happen because these lunatics did not allow anybody else to do any sort of campaign or even run for elections or even set any sort of date at all, right? So there's this energy of stagnancy as well and uncertainty. And then we go back to the lunatics energy. We did speak about the overall energy. Now we're going to go to the lunatics energy again. So as we know, he's a manipulative type of person, calm on the surface, but looking emotionally in control at the moment. Okay. But on the other hand, though, we do have people that are whistleblowers. Okay, we have the media, we have people that are watching him closely. We have a group of people digging, questioning, and exposing as well that I've mentioned in part 1, which is the social media activists. We also have people that are physically doing the activism as well, and we have the media. Not in the country, because he did silence the media in the country, or tried at least. But we do have the media outside the country, okay, in the Western world. Even though they also some countries are also part of this instability that's going on in the country, right? So we have journalists, okay, the new generations. There's a new generation of lawmakers that are coming through, and even some people from his own circle are also watching him very closely. All right, and quietly. We do also have that. Keep in mind that this is how will he be removed. Okay, we are going step by step. I haven't given any timelines yet. I'm gonna be giving timelines in very soon in the next videos. So then when we go from these people that are the whistleblowers, we're gonna go into the beginning of the change. Okay, we're gonna see signs of change because there's gonna be a sudden collapse, a scandal, a downfall. Okay, and this will not be a peaceful exit. Okay, their power structure is destined to crumble dramatically, possibly from within, which is already expected, right? Because when we deal with gangs, right, this is what happens. There's no loyalty. Everybody is for their own selves. They are selfish. Okay, they don't care about nobody. They care about their own selfish needs, right? And this is what we're going to be witnessing. We have already witnessed some of it because we do have a situation here where the people, the peasants that work for the false king, they have also been penalized for the fact that they have refused to take orders, okay, or refused to be controlled in any way, shape, or form. And these same people were the ones that were kidnapping people, that were killing people, that was doing all this dirty work, right? For the main lunatic, right? And now we do see that things are reversing slowly but surely. So there is things are crumbling from within, but they're always trying to maintain composure. And then we're going to go from this to legal consequences in a trial or international pressure as well, or court rulings. It says that this energy is a law, is the karma and the universal law catching up as well. Okay, it suggests a removal through legal channels or post-crisis trials. So after the downfall, the tower moment, we're going to see that justice is going to prevail as always. Okay, and we're going to see that there is not only justice of man, but there is also justice when it comes to nature. And since my country is very spiritual, okay, like many other countries, we do know and understand that there is a higher power that is in control of things, even if we don't acknowledge it or see it all the time. We also see that there is a cycle that ends after karma hits, and they will no longer be part of the country's leadership or image. Okay, it could also mean exit or global pressure. Okay, so most likely they're going to try to run away, or go and retire in a different country, or do whatever, because they have been stealing all these years. These lunatics have been stealing. They try to build properties or buy properties abroad, right? And then or there could be also forced transition or relocation. Okay, this is likely their exit. Okay, possibly fleeing, being exiled, or forced into retirement overseas, as I mentioned. So we also have this situation here where okay, this is the next point. A group of working quietly. There is a group working quietly, skillfully, and strategically. Okay, this is not a spontaneous revolution. This is a calculated takedown, likely through legal, governmental, or intelligent efforts. And now this is the point. This is a very crucial point here, because we have already witnessed that the drug enforcement agency, or whatever it is already in the country. Okay, they have already visited the country, and they have already they took some actions in the past, and they are working very hard towards bringing that justice, right? And these lunatics, they are aware of it. They are aware of it, and they are most likely victims of it as well, or they will be. Okay, because there was this situation. Sorry guys, if I'm just rushing, I feel like I'm talking a bit fast. Okay, let me slow down a little bit. I'm getting down. It's just the message is just coming through. So basically, we had a situation where there was this private jet that got landed in the country, right, a few months ago, or a year ago or so. And this private jet came from the USA, so meaning that it was being tracked the whole time, but they didn't know. And there was probably 4 or 5 drug lords or peasants, okay, part of the lunatic group, and directed by the main lunatic as well, that were caught. Okay, and the private jet was full of drugs, right? So it landed in the country. It stood there in the airport for, I don't know, God know how long. And it was basically, the main lunatic turned a blind eye, pretended that he didn't know what was going on. Now, I know the drugs were burned by the opposition, okay, or I think the police or something like that at the time, when they didn't sell themselves yet. The police, when I say sell themselves yet, the police. So now the drug lords, they were left outside because that's not their country. So they were like, they were free for quite a long time, and then finally, because of the external pressure and the media as well, external media, and the visibility as well and exposure, they finally got judged, and they I think they were put in jail. After that, the drug enforcement from the USA came to the country to visit the country, because obviously they knew that something was happening there, right? So they decided to take these prisoners to the USA, because they figured that they couldn't trust the main lunatic, because he's the main part of it. He's the main issue in the situation. He's the director of all of it, right? But because they need more proof, they are taking name. They are the ones that are working skillfully and silently, in order to get this, to trap the main fish, if I may say. Okay. So this is the situation that's going on. All right. But because, as I said in the past, the truth always prevails. Okay. And as I always say, the truth just presents itself. Truth does not ask for permission. It just presents itself. Okay. And with that being said, we're going to see that in the end, my people are going to be able to celebrate. Okay, they're going to be able to celebrate, and they're going to be able to return to there's a return to public order as well. Okay, domestic peace and unity. Okay, this also signals a successful transition of power. So, meaning that we're going to be able to, celebrate the victory afterwards. All right, we're going to be able to return to balance. Okay, reorder the country again, and possibly set new rules. Okay, so now we're going to do the summary of how he will be removed, right? We have so we have acknowledged that these lunatics will fall through a combination of exposure, legal action, and internal collapse. They were no, sorry. Okay, they do have watchers around them. Okay, a major scandal or internal betrayal will trigger the downfall moment. Okay, after which justice and global legal forces intervene. They may flee or be exiled, but this grip on power will end definitely. Okay, behind this is a methodical, strategic group working quietly. They aim to restore peace and public celebration, not chaos, as I did mention. Okay. Now, this is still part two, but we're going to go into part three here as well. Okay. And now we're going to talk about who will remove him? What group in specific? Okay. We're going to talk about who will remove them, the lunatics, the false king and his peasants. So now here we have an energy of a female-led or emotionally intelligent force. Okay, that could be a coalition of women leaders, diplomats, or healers in politics or civil society. This group leads with compassion and intuition, but don't mistake them for weak. And then we have number two, a young idealistic movement, possibly activists, artists, youth, coalitions, or moral reformers, offering an alternative vision. So we have a few groups in the country, or maybe a main group in the country, that is the PAGC. The what's it called? Is it the no Juventude the PAGC, something like that? And they have been working very hard to restore the balance in the country, okay, and to fight against this instability, despite any sort of adversities or backlash or challenges that they've been what's it called they have been faced with. Okay, we also do have what's it called, activists, as I mentioned earlier on, that are speaking very, very strongly when it comes to this. We have artists as well, and some artists are, sharing the message through their music, their art, and they have also some of them been punished just by doing that. Okay. We also have what's it called, elders in the country. Some because some elders as well, they need to respond to justice. They need to get some karma. Okay, because we've seen some behaviors that are not acceptable. All right, and I'm not even trying to disrespect nobody, but it's just that that in the country we do say that usually youths must respect elders, but when elders do not want respect, the youths will disrespect them. Okay, and that's what I've seen so far with a few elders. Okay, but nonetheless, I digress. There is indeed some elders that are still standing firm, and they are still fighting for justice. Indeed. And then we have also decisive action, a strong leader or collision that charges forward with focus and determination. This may also imply involvement from military or national police unit, but under the direction of a morally centered group. Okay, so most likely this might be PAGC, Domingos Simões Pereira, which is the charismatic leader, okay, of the political party of the opposition, and he has been sharing his message. I've been, witnessing and following his message, that his initiative to share a message every week to kind of enlighten people on what's going on, and to bring that sense of hope back to people's hearts. Okay. And then we do have a suggestive defection. Okay, someone close to the lunatics walks away, okay, betrays him or abandons his ideology, possibly a key ally or protector, which is very expected, right? And then we have a global outlook or international partnership. This group doesn't just act locally, they have a wider strategy, international vision, or backing. So definitely the drug enforcement is one of them. And then we have the League for Human Rights as well, is another one of them that I'm aware of. And there might be a few media channels that could also be part of it, but unfortunately I can't refer or recall their names right now. But yes, we are aware that they are cooperating in order to bring balance again and stability. Okay. Now, let's do a summary on who will remove him or them, the lunatics. Okay, so we have a compassionate but determined alliance, possibly led by women, youth, and a rising new leader will act as the force of change. They may partner with parts of the military, police, or judiciary, especially those tired of his manipulation. Someone from within his circle will abandon him, weakening his grip. This group sees a bigger picture and may be supported or encouraged by international forces, NGOs, or external governments. Okay. So before we move into, is this part 3? Before we move into part 4, I think this was part 3. Before we move into part 4, I'm going to do a final summary, okay? So these lunatics will be removed through scandal, exposure, legal backlash, and internal betrayal. Their fall will be dramatic and karmic, followed by celebration and restoration. The group that removes him or them will include emotionally intelligent leaders, youth-driven forces, and likely a rising national figure backed by allies and international support. This shift could begin visibly between, and I'm going to tell you the timeline in the near future, okay, in the next videos. But quite, okay. And then now the summary, the final summary is done. And now we're going to move into part 4, okay? And in part 4, we're going to talk about the timeline, a specific timeline on how this is going to happen. Okay? And I'll see you in a minute. All right? Stay tuned.